Good morning, this is Calamity calling, and I'm playing the second route of Tailor Tales. This one is with Neil. Let's just carry on. Here I am. In front of me is a small store that used to be a jewellery store. As of today, it's mine. This is so exciting. Ever since Grandma passed away, I had grown fond of the sewing machine she'd left me behind. It spurred me on to sew my own clothes, and I found out eventually that it was quite fun. I pursued my interests and went to art school, majoring in fashion. Grandma also left me behind a large inheritance, which is why I can afford my own boutique at 17, so I could purchase my own boutique after I finished art school. Flora's Place. And this is it, my own boutique. I hurry and take out my keys to open up the front door. An empty, large room greets me. It is stripped of any personality and it needs some touching up. It's taken me some time. Along with the help of my best friend Sarah, we finished up the boutique. Whew! Oh, hang on. What voice do we do for Sarah? I feel like Sarah's... Whew! I don't want to do my own voice. Woo! I can't believe it's finished, says Sarah as she stretches out. It looks amazing. Thank you for all of your help. I'm really grateful that Sarah also lives in the same city and helped me out. We met each other in college. Sarah majored in photography. She's been a great friend so far. Well, I'm definitely up for a break. Do you want to have a drink somewhere? Oh, sure. Do you know anything close by? I ask. Sarah knows the city more than I do. Of course, it's not too far from here. We can get there by foot. She looks really mean right now. We both move out, and I'm happily looking back to see my finished boutique. It's a dream come true. Café Bella. We make our way further into the city until we come across a cosy looking cafe. A little further is a very modern hospital. It's nice to see I live so close to one. You'll never know when you need to go there for an emergency. That's a rather dark attitude to have. Me and Sarah enter the cafe. It's quite busy and lively with people having a cup of coffee or people typing away on laptops. I actually see a few people in doctor's coats or nurses' outfits. I guess they come here to take a break. I'll go find us a seat. Why don't you stand in line and grab me a cup of coffee? I think her voice has changed. I patiently wait in line, order our drinks, and try to find Sarah again with a tray in my hands. I can see her sitting in the back, in one of the booths. I worm myself through a crowd of people, delicately balancing the tray. I've almost made my way over when suddenly someone knocks into me from behind by accident. I stumble forward and the cups of coffee launch themselves off the tray, right onto a man's sleeve. Gah! He yells in shock. The cups shatter on the floor, silencing the entire cafe. The man in front of me has his white dress shirt covered in one gigantic coffee stain. He's rubbing it and wincing in pain. I feel mortified and I rush over to him. I am so sorry, I yell out. I pull out a tissue from my bag and hand it over to him. There's no need, the man hisses at me, rejecting my tissue. This is ruined. You've ruined it. It was an accident, I murmur softly. The man flicks the coffee off his fingers and starts to glare at me. I suppose walking straight is too much of a task for you. This was a real Cornier. I blush as I recognise the brand name. It's one of the more expensive ones. See, he's being real sassy to me, so I kind of want to say there's no need to be rude. It was an accident. But then I also kind of say, because he's the character I want to get along with, I kind of want to say, well, what can I do to make up for it? But then that's a far too open-ended thing for me, and I'm not willing to be someone's servant. So I'm going to be fierce because he's been sassy to me, so he can get it back. There's no need to insult me. It was a mistake. I can agree that your 2 left feet are a mistake, he spits out. Well, screw you too. Sarah has finally come over to see what the commotion is about and steps in front of me. I forgot what her voice is. Back off! Back off, buddy! She apologised! No need to snap at her! Sarah is staring him down like a tiger protecting her cubs. The other people in the cafe suddenly stop being interested and return to what they were doing. Oh, what's this? She can't speak for herself, says the man with a vicious tone. See, I would totally say, of course I can speak for myself. But I am sorry about his shirt. I'm really sorry about your shirt. Saying you're sorry doesn't fix anything, he grumbles. Look, I can pay for the dry cleaning bill, I offer. A clerk comes running up and starts picking up the broken pieces of glass from the ground. I bend down to help them, feeling obligated since it was my fault after all. I don't have time for this, the man says as he briskly walks away. Don't pay him mind, Cassie, says Sarah. That's just how some city folk are. Rude and obnoxious. Her voice is just going to change, I'm sorry. I bite my lip and help clean up the mess I made. I feel pretty embarrassed by the encounter, but me and Sarah stay at the cafe once we were offered free replacements. I'm glad they didn't ask me to give them any sort of compensation for breaking their cups. Putting the event to the back of my mind, me and Sarah talk about our lives and what's going on. Sarah's excited about a new camera that she's getting, as she's a professional photographer. She's waxing poetic about all of its features and suggests that we hold a photo shoot with my designs. This way she has asked for some pictures to fill up her portfolio, and I get to use them for my own advertising purposes. We both eagerly talk about the specifics of the photo shoot. However, no matter how much I try, I keep wondering about that man, as I do still feel guilty about spilling coffee all over him. He was pretty rude about it though. I guess city folk really are different. Oh, those cakes look really good. I don't tend to eat cake, but that looked like good cake. It's not a huge milestone, but people are starting to stop by and come to see what all the fuss is about. As I'm folding some fabric, I suddenly hear the door open. A customer rushing inside. Quickly, I head out to greet them with a smile. Welcome! Oh.
Oh?
Wait, isn't that the person I spilt coffee all over the other day? Is that why he's here? For reimbursement? Are you here for the dry cleaning bill? I ask, a bit unsure. Wait, how did he find me anyway? He stammers, suddenly taken aback by the question, as if he wasn't prepared to meet me here. Ah, yes, exactly why I came here, to this quaint little shop of yours. His voice is dripping for sarcasm. The man straightens his back whilst looking around the store. He puffs out of his chest and clicks his tongue disapprovingly, as if he's judging every square inch of it and it's not up to standard. There's a scowl on his face and he frowns at my layout of the store. I really want to kick him out. After our little run-in the other day, I was forced to dispose of the hideous mess you made of what was once called a satin dress shirt. I had to order a new one. That wasn't necessary, I gulp. I could have paid for the dry cleaning, or even have made you a new one in return as an apology for ruining your previous one. Don't be obtuse. Creating an entire new one when you can simply buy another instead. The man lazily flicks his wrist at me. He's quite a dismissive so-and-so, isn't he? What's done is done. However, now we have come to the issue of payment. Suddenly, his mouth starts moving. He's noticed a bunch of framed pictures behind the register. They're some of my childhood pictures. I treasure them quite a lot, so I proudly display them. I'm not sure why he stopped to stare, but he takes a few steps closer to investigate. I'm almost convinced he's going to nag about my choice of wallpaper or framing for the picture, until I notice he doesn't have a scowl on his face as he did before. Do you like my pictures? I ask instead. That's not, I'm positive I recognise this boy. He trails off. He's looking at a certain picture of me from back when I was around 8 years old and going through a tomboy phase. I know I look boyish, but for him to mistake my childhood picture as that of a boy makes me feel a little abashed. It's a common mistake though. I quickly shake my head and reel in my embarrassment. That would be me. No, it's not, he scoffs, completely disregarding what I said. I'm fairly sure that's a boy, and I've met him before. Taken aback, I blink at him. Met me before? Huh? What do you mean? It's coming back. Is it your brother? He asks. However, he doesn't wait for my answer. I can see the resemblance. I'd almost forgotten what he looked like. The corner of his lips are curled up in a smile, which looks infinitely better than the scowl he's been wearing all this time. Still, I'm rather confused, so I prod him for some answers. Who are you, and what do you mean by you've almost forgotten? Right, where are my manners? I must have left them behind with my ruined dress shirt. The man brings a hand to his forehead, shaking his head. Then he looks, straightens his back, looking very impressed with himself. The name's Neil Forrester. You may recognise the last name. I do. Sarah told me some more about the hospital next to the cafe, that it was owned by the Forrester family. They seem to be quite rich, and looking at this person, I'm sure he grew up knowing nothing but riches. I didn't realise that this was their son. What's someone like him doing in my shop? And you are... Oh, right. I'm Cassie Lunera. And your brother? He asked, not caring much for my own name, apparently. He's looking at the picture again. I huff. That's not my brother. I already told you. That's me from back when I was 8 years old. Neil looks at the picture, then back at me. Then back at the picture. His face turns to a grimace. You lie. In no way does that look like a little girl to me. I feel slighted with the way that he accuses me of lying, whilst at the same time also insinuating that I'm actually a boy. I can feel my cheeks start to redden. Yeah, I'm not going to tell him to go get his eyes checked. I have glasses anyway. I was always a girl. I'm sorry to say, but that's me. I used to look a bit rough and like a tomboy back then, but most definitely a girl. Not possible, he says. I'm sure of it. We spent the entire night together at the playground until some police officers chased us off. Suddenly it clicks in my head. The purple hair, those golden eyes, Neil was that little boy from years ago. The one I met at the playground who had run away from his parents. This was years ago. I'd basically forgotten all about it. Wait, I remember you now. You're that boy that ran away from his parents because they made you study and wear proper clothing. I feel my anger melt away as a wave of nostalgia hits me instead. How do you... He leans closer to me and narrows his eyes, studying my face with such intensity that I avert my eyes out of embarrassment. I've never had someone look at me like that before. Sorry about my mother calling your parents over that time. Then again, it was the right thing to do. We were young, I say, trying to avoid his piercing gaze. At the sudden realization, the colour drains from Neil's face. You? He asks in a small voice. Yes, that was me, I answer with a smile, daring to look straight at him. Such a coincidence. Nice to see you all grown up now. I'd never have imagined that kid was a son of the Forresters. His face scrunches up in disgust. There's a scowl on his face like he's been smelling something foul. Neil's face suddenly turns bright red and he doesn't waste a second to dash out of the store. The door slams shut, leaving me utterly confused. Well, shall we do one more? Yeah, let's do one more. They aren't very long at the moment. Not knowing many places to sit down and relax, I return to the cafe. Some days I need to have a break from all my hard work, so I decide that today is a nice enough day to venture outside again and enjoy a nice cup of coffee. Ooh, I want the donut. I think I want the glazed donut. I don't like strawberry flavoured things, or like artificially flavoured things, so I'd want the glazed donut or the chocolate one. When I enter the cafe, I feel a prickle on my neck, like someone's watching me. Casually, I scan the area as I stand in line at the counter, looking over at all the people seated in booths. There's actually quite a few nurses having coffee here, probably taking a break. That's when I notice a familiar person sticking out. Well, it's hard not to spot him considering he's looking right at me. Neil hurriedly averts his eyes away from me once he notices I've spotted him. He's seated at the back in a booth, holding a cup of coffee, whilst his other hand is resting on his laptop. He tries hard to make it seem like he's busy and that his eyes didn't meet mine. He's acting as weird as when he did when I last saw him exiting my store. Mom, may I take your order? I suddenly snap back from my thoughts and look at the store clerk. Right, I wanted to order a cup of coffee. I quickly recite my order and wait in line. I'm rocking back and forth on my feet. My eyes wander over to a certain purple-haired man. Neil's eyes lock with mine again and I can feel a lump form in my throat. His eyes move away at lightning speed, then he hunches over his own laptop as if using it as a shield to hide behind. What's up with him? Why is he acting so weird around me? I realise I ruined his shirt on our first meeting, but I didn't think that he'd still be upset about it. Maybe I should offer to compensate him again for his shirt. We never really did figure out what to do about it since he stormed off. Not that he really needs any compensation or anything. The Forrester family is quite wealthy. The store clerk calls out my attention to hand over my cup of coffee. I purse my lips to blow off a bit of steam from the cup, then hold it securely in my hands, not wanting a repeat of last time's mistake. I look around for a seat, and that's when my eyes once more lock with Neil's. And yet again, he swiftly looks someplace else. Okay, now it's really starting to bother me. Determined, I make my way over to the farthest booth. What? Can't see me. With each step I take, I can see Neil crouching more and more behind his laptop. When I finally reach the table, I can see his arm covering his head with his face pressed in his keyboard. As if he thinks that by hiding like this, I won't actually see him. It all looks rather comical, with a dash of stupid. He's trying his best not to acknowledge me. I cough to make my presence known. With a disgruntled sigh, Neil removes his arm and sits up in a defeated manner. What do you want? He asks. I'll be nice because he seems so awkward. I was wondering if you needed anything from me. I bit my lip, trying to play nice. Well, I was wondering if you wanted something from me instead. He scoffs at me. No, why would I? Annoyed at his stupid games, I place my saucer on his table. Is it because of your shirt still? I did try and offer you money for it, but you left so fast last time. Did I somehow insult you? Insult me? Neil says with a scoff. No, rather, you ruined my childhood memories. I'm taken aback. Ruined? What does he mean by that? Are you talking about the time when we were at the playground? That was you, wasn't it? The boy, I mean. There were supposed to be 2 boys in that memory of mine, he says while clenching his teeth. God, why are his panties all up in a bunch over this? Jesus Christ, he's wound tight. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that I'm not a boy, I say with a sigh. There's nothing wrong with my eyes. I can see you're not a boy, he replies. Obviously he didn't. We are both silent for a little while, staring at each other, trying to gauge what the other is thinking. It's Neil who breaks away again, opting to look at his laptop screen instead. He rubs the palm of his hand against his forehead, clearly deep in thought. Look, I'm sorry if for some reason I made you believe I was a boy at that time, but I wasn't trying to deceive you. I'm not even sure why it's such a big deal. I thought you'd be happy to meet with me again. I know I am kind of happy to meet someone from my childhood. He makes a lot of noises. Neil looks appalled at what I've said. He suddenly closes his laptop and gets up from the booth. Doesn't matter. Just leave me be. I can forget that day you spilled coffee on me like it never happened. If that's what's compelling you to keep talking to me, I am not seeking any compensation. So now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Neil quickly walks past me and exits the store. I am baffled by the way he keeps having these dramatic exits and leaving me speechless. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about paying him back for his t-shirt anymore. Ooh, we have an important client request. Daphne. Ooh, that's a cute skirt. Looks like a watermelon. I'm going to end this one here because I think I've developed a new hatred for the different shades of green. This isn't something I ever thought I'd have in my life. So, I'm going to leave this one here and wish you a very lovely day. And most importantly, you do you.